All right. So I want to introduce our instructor for this evening. Is Dr. Victor Chukwu. He's he's a natural leader. Let me put it that way, and he's always developing himself. He currently is a biostatistician. He's also a physician. He's also a businessman, a musician, and a former president. Former president. He was actually president that brought me up to become the young adult president after him. And so I want to welcome him. He has a wealth of knowledge and experience that he will be sharing with each and every one of us. Now let me find him and spotlight him. There you are. Spotlight for everyone. All right. Let me stop share. Over to you, Pastor Victor.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
So,
Thank you. Thank you, Bopami, for the introduction, and thank you all for joining. It's a privilege to be here to be speaking to you all. I believe that you gain a lot from this program. I've seen the curriculum and the plan, and I believe that, like Bopami said at the beginning, we are all learning, we're all learning, we are all in the process of learning the heart of leadership. But we just want to pass across what we've learned so far and using the materials we have for this study. I don't want to take too much time because I know today is like we're having two sections in one. So just go straight to what I have for today. Bokwami, please, can you give me, can I share screen? Co-host, I guess. So we'll all be talking. I see that a lot of people have not been speaking too much. I've only heard Chico. Is it Chijoke? Yeah, I heard his voice. Um, and as we continue here, I will kind of introduce or speak a little about myself. But like Kwame said, in terms of my career, I trained as a medical doctor in the University of Port Harcourt in Nigeria. Then I moved over, I did my master's in public health in biostatistics. And then I did my doctoral degree in same field, biostatistics. I work as a biostatistician right now in a pharmaceutical company. And yeah, the Lord has been helping and granting me favor. In terms of my leadership experience, I think I will talk about that as we go on into this study. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Bopami. So, like Bopami also said, what we are we'll be using two materials. My I want to see everybody's face, so let me try and make this bigger. Yeah, if you know, if you are not if you don't mind, you want to put on your video, that would be great so I can see. I know some of you have pictures, but if you want to put on your video, that would be great so I can see your face and we can talk together. Great, great, wonderful. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. So invitation to leadership. I'm taking pivoting from the Timothy training booklet. You understand? I know we also have the other book, but I'll be using this to discuss this night. Invitation to leadership. Let's see. And like Bopami also have said, I don't want to repeat too much. We're using the life of Timothy because Timothy was a very good, he was tutored by one of the best leaders in the world. Paul the Apostle was a leader. Yeah, even though we'll be the best, the best place to learn about leadership is the Bible. Yeah, even though we'll be talking about profession, career, you'll be going to other places. But it's the best place if you look at the Bible, because we believe in the Bible, we believe in the structure of the Bible and what the Bible teaches. You will learn a lot from the Bible. And you see how Paul led Timothy until Timothy became a leader. And Timothy was one of the young leaders, best leaders in the Bible. All right. And in summary, leadership is influence in summary. But let me just ask questions. What is leadership? Let me start from Chijoke, since I heard your voice first. Can you tell me what is leadership in your own word?
Okay, I think
Sorry,
think leader.
but
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. But
sorry.
yeah, I think leadership is being able to like influence a group to like achieve a particular vision, and influence in the sense that recently leadership, most recent leadership does not involve giving commands per se. So you want to like motivate people or influence them without just giving directives per se, but influence them to like achieve a certain outcome.
Good, great. Thank you so much. Wonderful answer. Patricia, what can you say about leadership? Okay, so Patricia, you're not online, or you're busy. Sister Rhoda, thank you for putting on your video. Can you tell me about leadership?
I feel like it was all mentioned, but leadership is that ability to guide people in a certain direction towards a certain goal, but also like uplifting them in the process to be confident people. I feel like.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I've heard of guidance. That is one thing I'm picking from you, from Chijoke. He said something very important: to sell your vision. The keyword influence is also coming out. Those are keywords. Wonderful, wonderful. Let me hear from one more person. Let's see. Bobori, can you tell us about leadership?
All right, thank you very much, sir. Leadership is inspiring others to pursue the vision you believe. That's what I know about leadership.
Thank you so much. So inspiration, that's what I'm getting from your definition. And then vision. Okay, so from what everyone have said, you can see that, well, it seems a leader needs to have a vision. It needs to have something to sell, right? And you must be able to sell it to the people very well. And you must be able to influence them in the way that it's not affecting them in a bad way. So, and we have leaders. Well, I don't want to say good and bad leaders. We have, how should I say it? Leaders, positive and negative leaders, right? For example, Hitler was a very good leader. Okay, even though he killed many people, right? But for him to sell his vision to his army, to his soldiers, and move around. In fact, I learned about Hitler that before Hitler comes out to give a speech, he rehearses the speech over and over and over, right? The way he's going to stand, the way he takes the picture, he wants to take the picture this way because he wants to pass the message to his enemies that, see, you are going to die tomorrow. You understand? That's a very good leader. He's a very good leader, but negative, he uses it to kill a lot of people. But the major thing, a leader is somebody to be able to sell your vision, gather people, influence people, of whether positively or negatively. But we are hoping that we all be used positively in a positive way. So leadership is influence. Like I was saying, that for me, and I'll ask a question about this, I think God exposed me to leadership right from when I was a child. Okay. From the children's church, I became, okay, when I was in children's church, I became the children choir master. Okay, even though as a child. Okay, so I was in children. So I learned how to, as a child, I learned how to, lead the children choir and did everything. Then I became a youth. When I became a youth, they made me even though I was a youth, but I became the youth choir master. Okay. So as a youth, I was leading the youth, and I have to organize stuff, put how the practice should go, what should we do first, and all those stuff. You have to organize the whole choir. And then I know when I was in high school, I became the senior prefect in high school. If you grew up in Nigeria, they call it head boy and stuff. So I was over here, they call it president of student council. So I was leading the whole school. I was directing the whole school and everything. I enjoyed that post. It comes with a lot of privileges. One of those privileges, like you have to eat. How do you say? All the vendors, food vendors that come to the school before they serve the food to the students, have to be part of those that will eat and taste that food. So I don't need to go with any lunch to the school. I just go there, as the head boy. Okay, bring the food, come on, everybody, bring it, and I taste it, So I had that experience as a leader, but I learned a lot. Then I left college, went into campus. Of course, my life has always been choir master, so I became choir master again, leading a group of people. So I met different people. And while I was in college, they called me in Port Harcourt to become the youth choir master for the region. So I had to be leading like 300, 400 youths. So it's been a lot of leadership experience, organize, make sure they do the main story. I learned a lot about organization, administration, okay, setting purpose, setting vision, having a goal, having an objective. Where are we going? What do we want to achieve at the end? And because I was also under a very good leader, so I learned so much from him, and I tried to implement all those in my leadership. Then I came, so you could tell, I don't need to tell you, all my life I've been choir master. So just, okay, leading a group of people like that. Then I went to, when I did my service, I was really doctor in my old local government. So as the doctor there, you are the leader of the hospital, you are leading nurses, you are leading doctor, lab scientists, you are dictating like a medical director. All right. And then I came to the US. I did spend up to 1 year. I don't know what happened. I just said I should attend the young adult. I attended the young adult conference once just to get used to it. By the time I'm attending next, they voted. I don't know how I was in the midst of all these things. Next thing, my name was written. Next thing, I was told that you are the next young adult president. How did it happen? I'm like, one person nominated me, just one person nominated my name. I don't know, they just did everything. Next thing they said, well, now, Bro Victor, you're the next young adult president. I'm like, what? How? From where? How? But before I know what's happening, they're already praying for me and say you're the next young adult president. So that's how I became young adult president. And I learned so much. And those of you that were under my leadership, you could tell that we learned together. You understand? First, number one, I'm just coming. This is a new community. I was just coming from Nigeria, right? So, and you'll be on the group. They'll be using words you've not heard before. Cool beans. I'll be like, what is cool beans? What is cool beans? I'm like, they'll say, go, So I had to learn the culture, because that is part of leadership. You have to learn the audience, the people you are working with. You have to learn the culture. And this is a new culture. You have different people on the group, different age groups. I had to learn the way they speak. I had to learn the way they want you to speak to them. I will tell you, when I came, I gave my first message to the youth. Oh my God, you need to hear that first message. I'm just coming from Nigeria. Nigeria, we are used to just give it down, boom, down. We don't have time for, and we just, and I was talking, I would tell you the experience where this leadership stuff. So they told me to come talk to the youth, and I just came, and I was talking, I think we were talking about sex and all these issues, and I was just going, your virginity is your dignity. You lose your virginity, you lose your dignity, you die. I was just giving it to them. Okay. Then when I finished that message, some of the young adults or youth came to me and said, sir, that's what you said. That is hard though. The way you said the dignity and oh, and I said, okay. I mean, I think I spoke to Bokaya. I don't know, Prof, can you remember? I think I told you, I said, come, this is a new environment. What is going on? It's not. So I had to learn. I had to learn that, okay, even though I have a message to pass across, I was not thinking that some people here, have gone through a lot of experiences, not like Nigeria where we just assume everybody is, a lot of people have done stuff, you have to think about them before you say some words, you have to put things out there. Okay, so I started learning, and sincerely, it was a learning curve. And because I'm a Christian with the Holy Spirit near me, I had to let the Holy Spirit also teach me leadership. The Holy Spirit is one of the best teachers when it comes to leadership. And some of the things I did then, I didn't know until when I finished. Then I look back, I saw that some of I could not say, oh, this is collaborative leadership, but after a while, I started learning about leadership. What the Holy Spirit was telling me to do then were actually skills, leadership skills. Okay, leadership skills. So that's my experience. So let me ask you this question. Are leaders born or made? Are leaders born or made? People that have not spoken. Sister Tessie. I'm just calling names. Don't mind me. I don't take time. But if you want to speak to, please raise up your hand. Please don't be free to just speak. Are leaders made or born? Bro John, you want to say something? Just no answer is right? Just
well, I believe that leaders are made, not born.
leaders are made, not born. Okay. Yeah, but Daniel, can you say something? I see your hand. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Like Bro John said, I believe they are made. Where one is born into, environment can also stimulate that, but it's definitely made. No one is born a leader. Yeah.
No one is born a leader. Okay. All right. Who else wants to add to that? Anybody? Yeah, Deborah.
Praise the Lord. I feel like both, because some people are born with good leadership qualities.
Mhm.
Some people are born, they know how to carry everyone along, and some people are born not having home training. And down the road, they're taught how to be good leaders. So I think both.
Both. Good. Another Daniel. Is that Daniel? I see your hands up. Yeah.
Just like Debbie said, inherently, leadership is a skill, and I think you're born with certain traits that help with those skills. But at the same time, I think it's more nurture than nature, I think.
Okay, good. Oh, I didn't know it was you. Your accent is supposed to I'll just see the side of your head. Well, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, but David Amoko, yeah.
It just occurred to me that looking through the scriptures, and for those that the Lord called, it looks like there has been a prophecy thing before they came through, and they became truly what God called them from birth. So I would say the combination of the two.
True, combination of the two. Combination of the two. Yeah. Well, what will I say? I would say leaders are called. Okay. Whether born or made, but you are called. And the response to that calling is what makes you a leader. Okay. Yeah, you're all correct. There are some leaders there are some people that are born leaders. They have been destined to be leader from birth, and we'll see examples like that. But there are some that are not from birth. Nobody prophesied on them. But as they began to grow up, they were exposed to leadership and they were given leadership positions, and they had to learn in it. All right. So, but I believe leaders are called. So leaders are called, and for those who respond, they are chosen. Then good leaders go ahead to be committed, and only committed leaders are crowned. You get it? So not all leaders get to the point of being crowned that you did a good job. There are some born leaders, but failed to be good leaders, even though they were born as leaders. And there are some that were not born leaders, but they were made. All right. Eventually, I believe all those that were born leaders should be made. Okay, you have to be made to be a leader, even though you were born a leader. You have to respond to that calling or the potential in you. And we have a lot of examples. Can we give examples of called leaders? Just through examples, I will give Bible example, through all the examples of leaders so far, or leaders you admire, or leaders you look up to, or leaders you've heard of. Let's go. In both in the Bible and in the secular world. Let's go.
Paul.
What did you say?
Paul
the apostle, good.
David,
good.
Jeremiah.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Barack Obama.
Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. Thank you. Yeah. What was the last person you said?
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. Yeah, I love Barack Obama.
I think.
Let me not make this political.
I think Olusegun Obasanjo also.
Olusegun Obasanjo. You know why I said I love Barack Obama? I love his. Yesterday or so we were watching. No. This is where it all started. I've seen his show on Netflix. About this animal. I don't know how many have seen that there's this show he made about the parks, national reserve parks, and he was reciting on Netflix. So I saw that show, and then my wife forced me, I'm using force to go and have my dental check. We from Africa, we don't check our teeth, but she said I must go for dental checkup. So while they were there dealing with my tooth and doing all those stuff, they put something, a TV up there, and that was the show. Barack Obama was reading that stuff, and I'm like, this guy is excellent in what he does. He's a very good leader. Even though he left the presidency and stuff, he did not just go and relax. Okay, I'm done with presidency. No, he was still looking for something to stimulate his brain and everything. So yeah, so thank you, Chijoke, for those examples. More, yeah. Any more?
There's some in the chat.
I didn't hear that, Bro Kwame.
There are some in the chat.
Oh, there are some in the chat. I'm sorry, I was not checking the chat. So there are some people that are not talking. If you want to be a leader, you must learn to talk. Abraham Lincoln, yeah. Pastor David Oyedepo, yeah. Abraham Lincoln, yeah. Malcolm X, yes. MLK, Pastor Kumi, yeah. Simon Sinek, yeah. Dan, wow. Steve Jobs, yeah. Wonderful, yeah. No. Don't put me there yet. No. All right. Yeah, TD Jakes, yeah. Those are, yeah. We are very right. These are very good leaders. And I'll just give examples of, like I said, I'm using the book. So I'll just give examples that were mentioned in the book. But we'll discuss some things about them and we can apply it to life. I hope I'm good with time, bro. Kwame, please be telling me about time. I'm already doing interactive, so but if you have questions, just keep it. We'll see how to answer the question. There's this lady in the Bible, Esther. She was there at a particular time for a particular purpose and a particular reason. And that is something you all need to think about where you are right now. How many of you are holding leadership position where you are right now? Maybe at work or in church or something. I know anywhere. Okay. All right. How many of you now? Can you put your hands down? How many of you think, or have you ever thought that you are there for? There is a reason why you are there at this time, whether at work, why they made you a leader at this time, at this particular time. Have you ever thought about that? Why was it not 2 years ago or 4 years ago that you were given that position? Okay. Why is it that you are given that position at this time? That's how God works. And that is why I don't joke with any position I'm given. All right, because I don't joke with it, because I see that I may have, God knows that this position, I need to take it right now. Okay. I might not have it tomorrow. So I have to do everything I have to do within my limit to make sure I fulfill my purpose at this particular time. Okay. And that's where Esther found herself, right? At a particular place, specific time for a specific reason. There is a purpose. Esther was in the palace. Okay, that was a reason why she was there. Maybe 10 years later, there was no reason, but at that time, there was a reason. Like we were saying, Jeremiah was called from the womb. Some of you were called from the womb. Like from the womb, you already know you are going to be a leader, right? God already ordained you from the womb. You are going to be something, all right? Jeremiah had to know that some people don't know. Some people might not know. Nobody might prophesy to you, okay? But some others know, their parents tell them, or somebody's like, oh, there was something that happened, or something that you will be a leader. So like Jeremiah was a leader. Paul was a leader. Paul was a very good leader. And what God did with Paul was, Paul took his leadership quality while he was a Pharisee and converted it to Christianity. It's the same Paul, it's the same leadership quality. That's why I said that you can use your quality in a negative way or positive way. Paul was just a leader, when he was a Pharisee or when he was a Christian, he was just a leader. He's a good leader. He knows how to lead people, how to carry people along, how to sell his vision. I mean, for him to sell the vision to stone Stephen, he's a good leader. You understand? He had to make everybody believe that this guy is let's stone him. He's a good leader. And that is one thing we are getting from today. You must have, and I'm just doing introduction, and so a lot of people will still talk, but what we are learning, you must be able to sell your vision to your people. I don't know how you are going to do it, but it's something you have to always think of. How do I sell my vision? And I was watching Steve Jobs, I mean, I don't know how many of you saw. Where did I see that video? It was what he was talking about. That was 1997. He was talking about Apple, right? Before then, the way they've been doing the adverts has been different. They've been talking about they've been talking about the package, all right, not the core value of Apple. So they were like, and they were always comparing it like we do. Apple is better than Android. Apple is this. But that was not selling anything. That was not selling anything. And Steve Jobs noticed that it was not selling anything. So Steve Jobs changed. So Steve Jobs changed the method. Oh, God. And changed the method and said, okay, instead of us talking about the package, let's talk about the core values. All right. And if you look at the adverts, that I want you to go and look for that video. Go and look for that video. I know it's somewhere online. Yeah. Instead of, it was just the core value. So Steve Jobs made a new advert and said, let's project the core value. And you will see the way the sales went up, right? So it means that Steve Jobs came down and began to think, how do I sell this vision? This is not working. I don't know how people deal with something that is not working. It's one of my things that make me very burdened, sincerely, to stay in something that is not working. I don't know how it does. I know sometimes we say, okay, let's just be patient and everything, but a leader is somebody that things that are not working should make you very uncomfortable. You understand? It should make you very uncomfortable. You should be uncomfortable with dysfunction. Let me put it that way. TD Jakes will tell you, don't be loyal to dysfunction. All right. You should be uncomfortable with dysfunction. You should not, if you're a leader, you cannot sleep perfectly in midst of dysfunction. Okay. Yeah, you can all watch that video. All right. It's on the link. So please copy that link and you'll watch it about Steve Jobs. So that is something about Paul. Paul was somebody who was able to sell his vision. David was called to serve his generation, and he did. There is so much to learn about David. Oh my God. If we start picking David from when he was in the bush, when he was training, the time it takes for him to train, the discipline. David had to learn a lot of things, right? And even the humility when he got into the palace, you know, he knew so much more than Saul, but he was kind of humble. He knew so much that he had the opportunity to kill his boss. He had the opportunity to kill Saul many times, right? But he was very humble. He kept, you know, he kept going. He said, no, let's not do this. And that is one very good leadership quality. The best leaders are best followers, okay? If you don't know how to be a follower, you can never be a leader, never, okay? So if you cannot be, and now, especially at work or in workplaces, you see people talking about team play, team players, you know, how do we come together? Because they want people that can be followers. Once you're a very good follower, then you will surely be a good leader. But if you are not a good follower, you cannot follow instructions, then you cannot give instructions. All right, it's not possible. So, but David was someone that was very humble, very good follower. And by the time David became a leader, if you go and look at the people that followed David, they were like destitute, people that have been despised in the society, right? People that they're outcast. But David put them together, brushed them up, okay, made them mighty men of valor. Oh, David is a very good leader. All right. And the way Pastor Edipo will say it, results, believe my results. How does he say it? You know, result. We talk about, you know, people that have results. David had results. You know, one thing about good leadership is that the results will show for it. Okay, Onesimus was a thief before, but it was useful. And that is just encouraging somebody that, you know, it doesn't matter what you've done in your past, okay? You can still be useful. Everybody can be made a leader. Everybody. Demas was a leader, then he fumbled, right? Especially in the Christendom, and he became useless. He was not able to be used. John Mark caused a lot of problems for Paul and Barnabas, but later he became useful. Gideon was somebody that never thought he was going to be a leader. He never had that clue that, you see, why are you calling me? I'm not worthy to be called a leader. And that's how some of you feel like, I don't want to be, no, I'm not worthy to be called this leader. But God knew that Gideon was going to lead the army. God have seen the potential that was deposited in him. So sometimes nobody might prophesy on you and everything, and all of a sudden you'll be called to lead a team at your workplace, and you'll be like, I've never done this before. God knows why he's choosing you. Or even in the church, you've never done it before. All of a sudden you are picked. You are nominated. Like I told you, I was just nominated and picked with all my inadequacies of American culture, of young people in America and everything. But God just said, there is something you have to offer. All right. If I tell you I was not scared, that would be a lie. I was very scared. Very, very scared. I'm very, very scared. All right. But how to trust God for what God wants to do through me. And that's what you have to do. Don't look down on your inadequacies. And then you are a leader. Can somebody say, I'm a leader? Say, I'm a leader.
I'm a leader.
I know I put Bro John experience there because I just spoke to him last week or so. I didn't put his surname, so you might not. It's not Bro John Josiah. It's not that one. But there's another Bro John. You know, and I called him and I said, "Hey, Bro John, you're going to take over so and so, and you're going to be the leader." He said, "No, I'm not born to be a leader." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, no, Bro Victor, just forget about it. See, he said, from how many years ago, anytime they want to make me a leader, I say, no, I'm not born to be a leader. He said, no, I don't think I will do well. I said, no. The problem is you have not subjected yourself to training. All right. I believe anybody can be a good leader. I believe so. Like you all said at the beginning, leaders are made. Some leaders are born, but leaders can be made. You can imagine, do you know, if I want to put the highest list here, maybe Jesus. Jesus was one of the best leaders. If you go and look at the profile of the people Jesus picked, hey, some of you cannot cope. You can't cope. Jesus did not pick, if I was going to pick people to work with me, if I have the privilege to pick, I will make sure I will give the characteristics. No. They have to be this, they have to be this, they have to be this, they have to be this. But Jesus just picked, all of them are different people. Peter, James, John, all of them different. Is it Nathaniel, Matthew, different places, different ideas, different backgrounds. And Jesus was able to manage these people. Look at what Jesus did with the 12 disciples. Even Judas, he picked Judas too. Okay, Jesus would have been one of the best CEOs in the world. So a leader is able to bring out the strength of the people he's managing. That is a good quality of a leader, right? You're able to look at, okay, Peter is not like John, but there is something in Peter that I can bring out, okay? John is very quiet, humble, small, but I can bring out something from him. I can bring out his strengths. Then look at Judas. Well, this Judas, even though he's behaving anyhow, but he has financial, what do you call it now? Acumen. He knows how to do business. Let me use the business side of Judas. Judas, okay, be in charge of the money. Okay, all right. And you see, Jesus managed all of them. Judas failed at the end, but you look at what he did with the people. Now we have the gospel from those 12 people. That is a good leader. Now, apart from being called, sometimes we are called, some people don't answer the call, and they become, what happened? They are not chosen. But once you answer the call, you are chosen. And there's this verse in Revelation 17:14 that says that they are called, chosen, and faithful. So it's one thing to be called. Once you are called, you respond to the call, you become chosen. And once you are chosen, the next thing that is required of you is faithfulness. And this is what the next question I want to ask. What does it mean to be faithful? What does it mean to be faithful? Who has not spoken? Bro, Joseph, have I heard your voice? What does it mean to be faithful? Sister Ruth, Josephine, have I heard your voice? To be committed to a cause, okay? Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, I'm waiting. More answers. What does it mean to be faithful?
To be devoted to a cause or something.
To be devoted to a cause.
Yeah.
Thank you. To live a sense of accountability. Thank you to God and men, to be accountable. Good.
I say consistent availability and commitment.
Thank you. Consistent availability. Yeah, and commitment. To be loyal. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let me put my definition. You all said, this is my definition of faithfulness: full of faith in your God's given assignment, characterized by trust, loyalty, and excellence. And I'll try to explain that, yeah, like you all said, if you are trustworthy, then you are committed. Everybody know that you are there, you are consistent. We know that we can call on you. Like when we look over, we just know that this guy will be there. We trust you so much that you will not fail us. There's some people you cannot trust, right? There's some people you cannot, of course, you cannot trust. You cannot give them a job and trust that they will give you back that job well done. So you cannot trust them. All right. And that is not a good quality of a good leader. A leader is somebody that once you are given the job, they trust that you'll be committed to it, that you'll be consistent in what you are doing. So what consistency means is that if I'm not there, I can leave you alone to continue doing your stuff, and I will come back next week and see you still doing it. You understand what I mean? I can travel for a business and say, hey, you just take care of that. And when I come back, you are there. It's not like you are missing. Okay. So you are very consistent. And these are, we are talking about ourselves now. These are the things we need to apply to our lives. If you want to be a good leader, the question I'll ask you, for your own personal stuff, how consistent are you for some of the things you do? Like, think about it for your own. Can you trust yourself? All right. So if you want to really develop yourself to be a good leader, you have to learn to be very consistent, very, very consistent. Like be consistent. I've seen that most people that do well, especially here in America, they are very consistent at what they do. They stick at it. They just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. But you don't know that what you're doing, you're becoming better as you're doing it. Okay, as you do it. Yeah, Joseph, no problem. Don't worry, I'm putting everybody on the spot. It's okay. Then loyalty. You are loyal. You are loyal to what you have to do. You are loyal. I think that is very clear. You are committed to it. This last one is what I added to it because I don't. It's very important for a leader to always think about excellence. And that is one thing I always pray for myself. I like to do my stuff with excellence. So faithfulness, part of faithfulness is you are making sure that what you produce is with excellence. And even at my workplace, I carry that, we were given a topic. They came and they divided our team into like 3, and they wanted us to present just think about the topic, bring out ideas, then present it. Then they made me leader of my group. I don't know. I told you they always make me leader. I don't know why they made me leader of my group. But when we finished, I got feedback, and the feedback was that number 1, I took it serious. Number 2, I made sure that everybody was part of that team because I made everybody present. They were older than me, they were like big guys, but I made everybody present, And number 3, that was excellent. To me, it was just a normal stuff. But I think it's because I try to develop myself that anything I want to do it well. It's part of faithfulness. I might not, the funniest thing is, after a while, when I look back, I look at why did I do that last year? That is not good enough. I improve again. That's what leadership should be about. You should be able to, if you cannot look back last year or last 2 years and said, well, even though I did good, but that was not best, you've not grown. It's not a sign of maturity. So you should be able to look back and say, oh, wow, why did I do that? I did that? Wow. Was it me that conducted? Wow. Oh, no, I'll do better. That is excellent spirit. Because like I always say, excellence is dependent on your exposure. So that means you need to expose yourself well. You need to start thinking, how can I do this better? That is why we have people like Elon Musk. That is why we have people like Jeff Bezos, right? They're always thinking, how do we do better? How do we move this forward? It's unfortunate that we Christians are no more the innovators, but thank God for people like President Michael Ajayi that is, bringing out good business ideas and making ways for us. Okay. But that is how God wants us to be. We are supposed to be innovators, right? Because if we are innovators, then we can allow Mark Zuckerberg could not come and flag me down if I post something on Facebook and is not some community group are not happy. He won't flag me down. You understand what I mean? We bring out platforms and they project the kingdom of God. So we are supposed to be innovators. And the problem I've seen with us is because most of us are, and I was telling them on Sunday when I was giving a 5-minute speech, that we are all interested in making money, right? Nobody is thinking about passion and purpose anymore. Because when you start thinking about passion and purpose, right, it always ends up with innovation. Your purse will end up being bigger than those that were just thinking about their purse. At the end, your purse will be bigger. Like Bro Michael's purse is bigger than all of us here now. Because it was passionate and he had a purpose. I want to help this. I want to be able to do this. So that brought out the innovation from it. If it was just money alone, ask him. I'm sure he made losses on the first year or so. You can ask him, right? But it was not just money. So because of that, you must put that passion, purpose, excellence. You're always thinking, how can I be better? How can I do better than last year? How can I move higher? in this post that I've been given. That is faithfulness. And that is wisdom, because I always like when you put faithfulness and wisdom together, you become wise, you're trying to improve yourself. Okay, so that's what it means to be faithful. So it's not just to be called, it's not just to be chosen. You want to be faithful in whatsoever you do. They should know you everywhere, at work, everywhere, that you are improving, you are doing better, you are moving, you are learning. And leaders are learners. You all know that leaders are learners. So you are learning. You want to improve. You want to do better. You want to speak better, right? Time is gone. So I think this is like my last slide. I'll take some questions. What are we committed to as leaders? We are committed to live a life of purpose and meaning. I just said that. We are committed to become a tool in God's hand, right? You want God to use you to do something. You say, God, what do you want me? What do you want to do with me in this position, right? And it does not matter, was it somebody that said it? Was it Bro Francis that said it one day that let's not compartmentalize our life, professional career. We're supposed to look at everything as one. As God is working with us in the church, He's working with us in the workplace, He's working with us professionally. We are doing well, irrespective of where we are God's tool. We want to bring a change anywhere we are, whether in the school or anywhere we are. We want to bring a change. And we have to bear the cross for Him daily. Oh my God, I'm reading this book, Leadership Pain. Where is it? Leadership Pain. I just bought that book. Okay, I can't find it. It should be somewhere. If you read that book, you know that to be a leader is not easy. It's not easy. To be a leader is not easy. The pain is much. You understand? It's not easy. They will talk you down. They will say different things. You'll be misunderstood, right? You make wrong decisions. You step on toes. Sometimes you have to fire some people. Sometimes you have to close down a group. I've done it before as a young adult president. Let me tell you that story. We were calling for people to help with graphics, right? Graphic design. And then we formed this group. I think it was I and Winifred then. And then we started putting, okay, this is what we have to do, and this is what we have to do, and that's what we have to do. But we noticed that none of them were interested in doing anything. Just I and Sister Winifred, who was a graphic designer then. So one day I said, okay, I sent a message to the group. I said, please, we've been doing this work. I said, now, this is a flyer. Can anybody help with doing this, help with the graphic design for this flyer or something? Then somebody replied, why not go and do it yourself? I'm like, so I thought it's really different. What kind of people do we have in this group? I said, please close down the group with immediate alacrity. Close down, cancel the group. Everybody go, flush out everybody. So I fired everybody out of that group. Everybody. All right, then we started again. I said, what is that? All right. Those are people that are not ready to do anything. They just want to be there. So yeah, sometimes you have to fire people. Those are leadership pain is a bit. I'm reading that book because I need to be prepared for the next phase of my life. I know I'm going to face a lot of stuff. So it's a good book to read, but it's scary. It's a very scary book to read because you'll be scared to be a leader. You'll be scared to be a leader. But yeah, it's a lot of cross you have to carry. Some people will misunderstand you. Some people will laugh at you. Some people will not know where you are going. Some people will not believe in your vision. All right. If you're a statistician or if you've done statistics, you know that out of 100 people, you always have confidence in 95%, right? You always have 95% confidence interval. Have you heard of that before? So you always give chance to 5%. Either way, that will not be part of you. All right. no matter the vision, no matter how good your vision is being sold, not everybody will get it. No, some people not just like you. Some they don't just like your accents. Simple. Or they don't like your face, and that is it. There's nothing you can do about it. They won't go with your vision. Okay. So when you are doing stuff, always make plans for that at least 5% of these people here will not believe in what I'm doing. So make yourself, give yourself 95% confidence interval. Okay. I'm confident that the 95% of people in this group will take my vision. 95 is good. Okay, 95 is good. All right. But don't worry so much about the 5%. So don't be surprised if after you've done everything, one person in your team is not agreeing with you. Just take as the person has 5%. All right. So it comes with a lot of trust. In the Christendom, to do greater works than Jesus, that's what we are committed to do greater works. Jesus did and did not finish. All right. He finished what he did on the cross, but the gospel work did not finish. We are supposed to go and finish what Jesus did on the earth, to do specific work at a specific time. This is very important, very, very important. Always at every point of your life, always find out what are you supposed to do. All right. What are you supposed to do at every point, when you get to a place, figure out what am I supposed to do in this place? And that is the best way to fulfill your purpose. I always tell people that purpose is a string of smaller purposes that you fulfill in different phases of your life. Okay. So when I was in Lagos, Nigeria, I was called to do some things. I did it. I was done, finished. I moved next to Port Harcourt. I got to Port Harcourt. I was called to do stuff. I did, finish, executed, I'm done. I moved to Bayelsa. I got to Bayelsa for 1 year. I was called to do stuff. I did, I trained, finished, done. I moved to Cross River, went into one village, Boki, in Cross River. I was called to do some stuff. I was given assignments. I did, finish, executed, done. Went back to Lagos. I was given another assignment. I finished, did, boom, finished. I say I'm done. Came to the United States. I landed 1 year. I was given an assignment. I did, finish, done. Move to the next phase of my life. That is how you fulfill purpose. All right. That is how you fulfill purpose. If you are going to be living a place, I cannot look back and say, I did something here, then you didn't do something. Okay. You didn't do something. If you are living a place, you should be able to say with your chest up, I finished my course in this place and I'm moving to the next phase of my life to do something. So don't always take your location for granted. Anywhere you are. I told you I was in Boki, right? Boki, I never knew what Boki was until when I was in service and when I was sent there. It's one village down in Cross River that was surrounded with chimpanzees, gorillas and chimpanzees. All right. Have you heard of Obudu Ranch before? Has anybody heard of Obudu Ranch? It's close to that place. It's like 1 hour, 2 hours to Obudu Ranch. And I was there, village. You see, you will not believe you're in Nigeria. I'll wake up, I will see mountains with clouds. I'll be like, oh, I'll be envisioning, oh, is this where God talked to Moses on the mountain, clouds and mountains. And I'm like, what am I doing here? But I had the privilege to move to Calabar, which is a city, and I can make more money as a doctor there. But something says, stay in this village, just stay there. All right. I don't have enough equipment, but after 1 year, I was so happy I stayed back. Number one, in my medical career, I helped a lot of people. There were babies that were saved because I was there. There's a woman that would have died for retained placenta. She was bleeding, but because I was there, she was saved. There was a baby that was died with cerebral malaria. They don't have money, but God used me to pay for them, and she was saved from cerebral malaria. So I was so happy I was there. Then I came to church. Of course, they made me the pastor of the church in that village. I was preaching to the villagers, and the youths were there. So when I was leaving after 1 year, I had a sense of fulfillment that, oh, wow, I've done something. Even though I did not make so much money I would have made in Calabar if I was in city, but the joy that I've helped people, I've trained people, I even had a bike, a driver. It's not a Lexus Jeep. It's just, when I say a driver, it was, what do you call it, motorcycle driver. That's the only thing. motorcycle. I had like 2-3 motorcycle drivers. They were all trying to be my driver. So I employed like two motorcycle drivers. Nothing, just to help them. I'm going somewhere. The fee is 100. I will give them 500 naira just to make them happy. Just so when I was leaving, they like 3 motorcycles. They were all following me, and I'm going. But that is it. I'm just trying to say that for a particular time in your life, you must fulfill a purpose. Now I've left there. They were begging me to stay. I said, my life is not in this village. I'm going to have to go somewhere else to fulfill my assignment. So always think of, what are you called to do at every point of time? What are you called to do? Where you are right now, what are you called to do? To receive his giftings for your life. See, sometimes the reason why we don't manifest gift is because we have not stepped into that place where we need to manifest the gift. All right. God does not waste his gifts. All right. So why should he give you the gift if you are not going to use it? So you have to step into the position. And once you step into the position, it gives you the gift to use it. Some of you will be surprised when you become CEOs. You will know that you have potentials. The reason that is because you are still in your house doing masters. So that's why you think. But by the time the position comes, you see all the gifts will just start manifesting. All right. But you have to stir up the gifts, like Paul also told Timothy. You have to fan it. You have to find the gift. If you don't find that gift, it won't manifest. All right. And to serve. That's the last. We are committed to serve. Leaders as servants. We serve. Okay. If you're not ready to serve, you cannot be a leader. All right. Leader, that is the greatest thing, greatest characteristics of a leader. You must be ready. You must be ready to serve. Well, I think I've taken enough time. Questions. Okay, before we take questions, let me tell you my assignment, and I want you all to take this assignment. And I would like, when I was thinking about the assignments, I started thinking, oh, is this how Professor Kayode deals with that? So it means I have to read how many people are like 24 people's scripts. I said, Professor Kayode is he's a professor. Hey. But don't worry, I'm going to read everything. And I want to see it. Please, write a short note about a leader you admire. Why do you admire that leader? And what lessons have you learned so far? That is number one. Then number two, what is your most important leadership quality? And you explain. I would like to read everybody. Please. But Kwame, how much do they have to submit this assignment?
It depends on who's given the assignment. So, but what we wouldn't want is an overlap of assignments. Okay. Then it gets overwhelming. So, in my opinion, if people can get it before the next class,
okay,
it will be really nice.
So 1 week. So let's say Friday. If you're in school, you say 11:59. 11:59. 11:59.
Yeah, I mean, I think the assignment is a very short assignment that you can literally just stay 15 minutes afterwards, do it, and you're done with the whole thing.
Okay. Then
that's the professor.
The professor. That's how professors do. Just do it in 15 minutes and send to me now. And that is a good tactics, Professor Kayode, because I see you start reading early. For those that submit it early, don't wait till Friday before you read everything. Now, yeah, that's the next question I wanted to send. Where should the assignment be sent to?
They should send it directly to the instructor.
Okay, so
it helps better with management, and then you can upload it if you want into the instructor drive, or if you want to manage it there.
Okay, so my email is dropped. Victor O. Please make sure you write the O. A lot of people don't put that O. They don't believe I have a middle name. O Chukwu. Okay, so Victor O Chukwu. Don't forget the O Chukwu @gmail.com. And I'll be looking forward to read at least more than 20 replies. And I know it will be interesting to read. So I hope you all got the question. So now let me ask you your question. Does anybody have question? But Kwame, how many minutes do we have left?
You have like 45 minutes to an hour for the lecture itself and 30 minutes for questions. But you
So how
don't
many-
we
how
don't
many
have to
are you
exhaust.
taking?
No, you used an hour. You're 1 minute short of an hour for your
Okay.
lecture, so you have 30 minutes for questions.
30 minutes.
But we don't have to exhaust it, obviously, right?
Oh,
So,
of course, yeah.
I've got a question for the assignment.
Okay.
So number 2, is it the most important leadership quality in yourself or that you admire from other people?
Yeah, that you admire from other people. Okay.
I think
Or
another-
what you ever think of, whether the one you admire or what you think is the most important quality you should find in a leader. Okay. What do you think should be the most for you? So you have to put number 1, just one. Okay. And you explain why you chose that one. Yeah, bro, Francis.
This is Sister Nanya.
Hey, Sister Noyen. How you doing? Sister Moyen.
Yeah, so my question is in regards to the aspect of leaders being called. I know when you put that up, you were asking, can we mention leaders that are called? And I saw a lot of other people, everywhere. And I was wondering, what is the basis for determining if somebody outside of the Christian setting, where God is the one doing the calling? God said, oh, Jeremiah, this is what I want you to do. Calling Paul, this is what I want you to do. So outside of that, how do we determine whether somebody in a secular space is called to be a leader or not? Is it because the person was elected into office, or what exactly is that basic? Because I was wondering that.
Okay, so and this is outside the Christian setting, right?
Correct.
Okay, even outside the Christian setting, you know what I always think, because like the Bible even made it clear that governments are organized by him, right? He is in charge of even the government. I believe, and this is what I always say, even to our young adult people then, that men elect, God selects. Okay, men elect, God selects, even outside the Christendom. So when you see somebody up there, God has called that person to be a leader. Now, how the person handles it is different, okay? But God has called that person to be the leader at that time. So once you are given a position, once God will not come down to you to call you, but we use men most times, he can talk to you physically, but sometimes he will use men to choose you. And once you are given a leadership position, you have been called to leadership. Simple.
Okay.
You have been called to leadership. How you respond to, how you behave in that leadership position determines if you are responding to the call or not. Some people say, okay, I'll take the position, but when they take the position, they don't respond to the call. They don't do what they're supposed to do. All right. So they fail in response to the call. I said first you have to be called, then you are chosen. Okay. It's as you respond to that call, as you start doing stuff, you know that, okay, I'm a chosen leader. All right. So yeah, once you are given a leadership position, you have been called to it. Yes. Bro, Bori.
Thank you, sir. I'm still trying to kind of. I think Sister Noye kind of scratched what I wanted to ask, but just trying to articulate. There's a way. There's something I really want to bring up, but let me make an attempt at it. So, when we're giving examples of leaders, one of the examples that was given was Elon Musk, and I know there are quite a number of leaders in the world today that I don't know, so like this call thing has to come up again. It's not like really they were called or something, but circumstance and privilege trusted that opportunity that rose to them. Take, for example, someone that was born in a wealthy political family, a wealthy family, has that proximity or that tendency to be a leader. And someone like Elon Musk probably might not, if it came out as a political leader, might probably not get close. But by the virtue of his money, it automatically became a leader and all that. So I just wanted to ask, as we think about things like this, understanding maybe it might look too simple, but I just still want to ask, and understanding how that they are, of course, there are a lot of theories and principles and all that. And to what degree do we kind of follow this kind of people? Of course, some of them are doing well to pursue the vision that they have as regards to what they have. So I don't know if I've really made sense with my question. I'm still trying to, but I don't want to just miss this opportunity. Yeah.
Okay. So you're trying to say, well, some people are leaders because of the privileges they found themselves in. Yeah.
Exactly.
And because of those privileges, they actually become leaders. So should you emulate them since they actually, they had some factors that supported them to be to be that, you know. Well, it's two ways. The truth is that yes, we are not all born equal. We say we are not all born equal. Some people will be given privileges to, you start up with a privilege. Okay, for example, let's even use the Bible for example. King David and King Solomon. Solomon was born with privileges. Well, right? David has done the work for him. He was born with privileges. And but you notice that even when David was praying for Solomon, he was not focusing on the privileges. He was still focusing on God give him wisdom, God give him direction, because you might be born with privileges, but if you don't have the wisdom and the quality to be able to manage that thing you have, you can even fail. And that's what started happening to Solomon. At the end of his life, he began to feel, well, I have too much. He began to mismanage. When he began to mismanage his privileges, see what happened to him. He started marrying 1,000 wives, and all those stuff. So you can imagine if people like Elon Musk, even Donald Trump, we say he was born into a family, right, or something, wealthy family. Who else? Even Jeff Bezos. I heard about Jeff Bezos. He has this what do you call it? He has this principle that he makes every decision before 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. Right? 10 a.m. So it's not depending. So those people, they have principles that keeps them going. It's not because they just have the money. Money, those are factors that would have gotten them there. But if they have not had the wisdom and principles to be able to manage what they have, they would have failed. You will not hear about them today. You understand? And it doesn't even matter if they've done better or if they've been doing good. If they begin to mismanage, you will hear about it and everything will crumble. For them to still be on the high scale right now is because of some leadership principles. They are learning so much. They are learning about collaboration. They are learning, like, I'll tell you that Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, all these people, they are not the smartest people. I was telling them on Sunday, if you want to be a leader, if you want to make sure that you're not the smartest person in your team. The best CEOs and best business people, they employ smart people. They are the dumbest in their team. They are the dullest. The only thing they know is they know how to bring the experts together. That's why we have companies pay for you to hire you, right? Because you're an expert. They can't do the work. So that's even a good leadership quality. You see Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk is not the one doing everything. He's not the one doing everything now. But he has the money to employ, he's smart. He's applying some leadership principles. Okay, so just to answer your question again, we can emulate their principles. Why does Jeff Bezos make his decisions before 10 o'clock? He's not waking up 10 o'clock. He must have woken up like 5. He's fresh. He knows that before any decision comes to his table, this is very important. And any decision he makes will affect everything in Amazon. So he has to be careful. His brain is fresh, you understand? And he makes that decision. Very key. Principles. So whether we are born with privileges or not born with privileges, in as much as we can learn principles will really help us. And that's something I've been talking about, discussing with people about the Bible too. There are some principles in the Bible that irrespective of who you are, whether you are born again or not born again, if you follow those principles, you will reap the benefit of those principles. There are some, whether marriage or money or everything, if we don't Are you going to tell me that there's only Christian marriages that are working? No, there are many marriages that are not Christians that are working. Why? Because they just follow the principles. So principles are very important despite the privileges, okay? So we must weigh, I think the principles of leadership keeps us going, and that's what we should learn from these people. Yeah. Any other question? Dave,
Yeah,
want to say something?
I have a question also.
Okay, 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah, so speaking of calling, I know most people tend to assume that calling has to like do with has to do with pastors per se, right? But I don't know. I like to hear your view. I feel sometimes when people like get, how should I put it, like calling into other areas of leadership.
Yes.
Yeah, some might be political, some might be business, some might just be in terms of solving a problem in society, not governmental organizations.
Yeah.
So I'll just like to hear your view about that. What you think of calling, especially can someone say they've been called, even if not to be a pastor, like in another area?
Yeah, Chijoke, you're very right. Like, in fact, we're in the last, I'll call it say last days, and the last days, a lot of events are happening right now. And what God wants is for us to move into different spheres outside the world, not just to be in the four walls of the church. Okay. So if right now God is calling people to be business leaders, because you are going to influence. That is where you are going to really influence the world. You understand what I'm saying? In the midst of business leaders, to move into politics, to move into your, what do you call it now? County, and be a leader in your county and put change and change some stuff. Even in schools, I'll give an example. For example, we've been praying. I'll just quickly give it. We've been praying that maybe our daughter will attend a Christian school or something like that. Then it came the time we said, okay, let's just try this school near us. Not a Christian school, the public school, and we took her there. And how God will have it, our teacher was a Christian, or is a Christian. So they discuss about Bible all the time together. In fact, and she was telling us this week that she uses her daughter because they are restricted on how to share the gospel. So instead of us saying it, she would say, "Oh, Shalom, can you tell us the story of Noah?" So she said, "I'm not the one that said it, it's the student that said it." And she would say it. And then she started telling us that even in that school, they have some prayer, that their principal is so nice. The principal wants some Christian stuff. So they have good news club, they have prayer meetings for all the teachers in the morning. And I was saying, you see, why that school is different is because the principal is a Christian. You understand? And he's allowing some of these things to happen. In normal school, they will not allow it. You see how he is being a leader in that place and spreading, representing Christ, even as a principal of a school. You understand what I mean? That is how we should be, that even in our business world, you become a CEO or something, because of your influence, you can allow some things that will allow the gospel to flow. You understand? So because you are the owner of the company, I mean, if they say they want to have fellowship during the break and pray, of course, allow it. I'm the owner of the company. I'm the business owner. You understand what I mean? That's what God wants us to do, not just to be in the church and just be pastors. So God is actually looking for people that will be called to these places. If you're a Christian and you can represent Christ in a very high level, oh my God, your influence will be even more than pastors in the church. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, how many pastors do they call? Even when they call them for prayer breakfast, the only time they call them at White House, maybe it's mostly prayer breakfast, and they all go there, eat, pray, and they go. You understand? But imagine somebody working with a president that is a Christian, or imagine a kingmaker that is there that can influence things, that can say, sir, can we do it this way? Can we do, and that's what is expected of us. So when God gives you opportunity to be a leader in the outside world, please take it. You are representing Christ, and you are supposed to shine. It's not everybody that is called to be. We are supposed to have less pastors and more influencers in the world, in the business world. Okay.
Yes, thank you. I just want to add an example of that. This lady, I think Ibukun Awushika. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah, I know Awushika.
Yeah, I think she's a very great example of that. Thank you.
Yeah, and you see how Awushika is really making influence so much in Nigeria. You understand? Everybody knows that she's a Christian. Everybody. And in fact, because I don't know if you read of the story she told recently, because of that, she's defending Christians. You know, she's defending Christians. There was a guy that was sent to be the manager of the bank in South Africa or so, right? And they sent the guy, to be interviewed. She's the chairman. So after interviewing the man and everything, I said, okay, you're free to go. We've accepted you. You're employed. You go to South Africa. Then immediately she accepted. They ran out. They came in again and said, ma, sorry, we gave you the wrong person. He said, how? He said, we gave you the wrong person. The person you interviewed was a mistake. We have another name. But because she's a Christian, she could discern that something is going on there, right? She said, I'm sorry, I've spoken to the guy you gave me, to the first person, and that is the person that will go to South Africa and become the manager. I'm not going to change. I've interviewed him, I've signed his form and everything, and that is it. The people they were disappointed, they left. He said immediately they left. She said, please, let me look for who that man is. Some people are praying on top of that man. Something has happened. Let me look for that man that came. Do you know when they went to look for? She was just saying it randomly. When they went to look for the man and everything about the man, he said the man attends deeper life. She said, no wonder. Who wants to take the post of this man? It was a very funny story. But imagine if she was not a Christian. Do you know that man might have lost his job? Maybe they would have even bribed her and said, man, that's not the person. That's not the person. You have done the interview, but, take this change. Let's change. You understand what I mean? So being in those positions, sometimes God keeps us there to command the affairs of men. And that's what God wants us to do. Yeah, babe.
Okay. Thank you, Pastor Victor. So I have a question, right? It's more like, how do we balance leading different visions at the same time? I'll explain. You see, most of these big leaders, like Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and even Elon Musk, they are known for one thing, right? But in the church, we have leaders that are focused on their life purpose, but they're also giving big roles to play in the church. Is it possible to effectively lead more than one big vision, or how can it be balanced?
That's a very good, deep question. It's tough to carry two visions. It's very tough. It's not easy. But it depends on the priority you give to them anyway. You understand? Because if a vision has been placed in your hand and you are the pioneer of that vision, the quality of a leader is that you don't want that vision to fail in your hand. Okay. There are two things you either do when you cannot manage that vision anymore. It's either to say, okay, I cannot manage this vision anymore. Can I pass it to the next person to manage it? Or you say, okay, I'm going to put priority on it and I'm going to make sure that this vision does not fail in my hand. Those are very good qualities, because once that vision fails in your hand, it puts a wrong note on your leadership quality. And so it's always very important to know when to pass across a vision that you cannot manage, especially when it's too much burden on you. And that's what we even read it from the Bible, from Moses, and when it was too much of Moses, you want to pass it down to people. Imagine what Moses was carrying when it was time to pass it out to people. It took 70 men to carry what Moses was carrying. You understand? Moses alone was carrying the work of 70 men. So when it was time to say, okay, it's too much on me. So it takes good leadership to know when to relieve but if you don't want to do that, then you have to know how to manage your visions very well And that comes into time management. I'll give you an example. This leadership, right? So I can mention names and everything. TD Jakes, for example. TD Jakes is a pastor, but it's also how many of you know that TD Jakes is a businessman too? Do you know that? How many of you know? Right? Okay, TDJ is a businessman. So you see TDJ Enterprises, right? It's into business. He does a lot of business. He's into real estate, and it's into fashion, right? That's why you see him dressing well all the time. He's into yeah, he has different fashions. Then he's also into movie, right? You know he's into movie, right? He does movies. Now, but one thing I've heard TDJ said is that he knows how to compartmentalize his life so much. So he doesn't mix church with business. You understand? He doesn't mix business with family. He makes sure his life is very compartmentalized, and he makes sure so no one suffers at each time of the day. Let me give you an example of what it means. On Monday, you can say Monday is for business. Every other thing will suffer, but this Monday, business will not suffer. You understand? When it comes to Tuesday, Tuesday is church time. Every other thing will suffer, but church will not suffer. Okay? It gives his all time to church. Then Wednesday is for family, church, everything, stay. This is full-time family. You understand what I mean? So he compartmentalizes his life such that he has time when he gives 100% to that thing. So in a week, he makes sure he goes to his compartment and he gives 100%, they don't suffer. That's the way to carry your visions together. You must, if you want to carry more than one vision, you must have good time management, and you must be able to compartmentalize your life, follow your vision plan for each one at each time. At the time you are focusing on one in the day of the week, the other ones will suffer, but you make up for it on another day. You understand what I mean? That is a very good way, and that's one thing I learned from TD Jakes. So when I plan, I try to make sure that, okay, my life is, I don't want to mix my things. I don't want to mix family with church work, with school work, I want to make everything different so that when I'm facing family, I know I'm giving my family 100%. Okay. So that is a good way to handle that kind of thing. All right. Great questions. Great questions. Any more questions? Thank you so much for your time. Any other question?
Where can we get a recording after the meeting?
Pastor Kwame will.
So we were working on the back end to build a Google Classroom. Shout out to Brakelechi Akwat. So once that is set up, we'll be uploading everything in there. We're going to send, if you registered online, like I said, we have your email on file, and we'll be sending an invitation out to each and every one involved to that Google Classroom. So this will all be done, God willing, between today and and by close of tomorrow.
Great.
So that will give enough time to review the material and have it and do the homework.
Great. Starlove, do you have a question? I saw you muting. Oh,
wow, good eye. Yeah, I wasn't gonna ask it anymore, but I guess so. I think I've kind of tried the compartmentalizing theme, and themes just kind of end up overlapping, where maybe something comes up for school on the day that you have dedicated to, say, ministry, or so. How do you deal with when things come up repeatedly that on the maybe during the sections or on the days that you had dedicated to a specific task, things that you can't avoid?
Yeah, so I use the day as an example, but you could go, I just use that as an example, but you could go either way. So in a day, you could have different time in a day, allotted to different visions of your life. But the major thing is that when you are doing that, you want to make sure you have 100%, okay, dedication to that thing you are doing and you are thinking about it. Of course, especially at this stage of our lives, a lot of things are going on. There will actually be overlap. There will surely be overlap of different visions and different things. But make sure you have your priorities, okay? And this is a quality that you will need even when you work. Yeah, like at work now, I have different projects going on and different assignments, different deadlines. But my manager will always tell me, Victor, make sure you have your priorities. Focus on the ones that they need you, that is needed, the results are needed first, those kind of things. So make sure you have priorities. If there are priorities on different, like, you have church priorities and you have school priorities. Yeah, I think then you just need to come down to time management and make sure you manage your time well. One of the biggest things, I was still reading about it yesterday. One of the things that affect leaders so much, pastors or leaders in everywhere, is time management. So you must be able to manage your time well, such that number one, you are not too overwhelmed. If you are too overwhelmed, I always tell people, if you are too overwhelmed, that you are feeling you're too overwhelmed, start looking at your calendar again. Maybe there are some things you need to cut down. All right. There are some things you need to shed off so you are not too overwhelmed. Because when you are overwhelmed and you are in the class, you are thinking about church, you're in the church, you are thinking about school, you're in the school, you're thinking about family. You cannot, your brain is not dividing, there's not compartmentalizing there, and there is something wrong. You need to do something about it. That is not healthy. It's not healthy. So yes, to answer your question again straight, there will be overlaps, but you must know how to manage them by setting your priorities. 1, 2, by removing unnecessary things that another person can do. 3, by making sure you have good time management, which is a learning curve. We are all still learning how to manage our time well. Yeah.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Okay, thank you so much. I enjoyed this section and thank you for the privilege you've given me to talk to you all, and I hope you gain 1 or 2 things. I'll be looking forward to your assignment. I want to read your assignments. I'm so curious to see what you all write, and I want to learn from you all too. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Bro Kwame, Bro Michael, for this opportunity to share the tour of my experience. God bless you all. See you all at the top, okay? Leaders of tomorrow. God bless you.